Christmas. Okay, so it's not quite Christmas yet, but it's December. It means it's the last TBR of the year, and I'm in a festive mood already. So let's get straight into this video and see what books I am going to read for December. Bookworms, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. As you can see, we're already in the festive spirit. It's December the 1st. It means there's 24 days left until Christmas Day. But not only am I extremely excited because it's Christmas soon, but it is my birthday month. My birthday's on the 22nd of December. Birthday drop right there. And yeah, I hate waiting for my birthday. Like, I have to wait a long 12 months for my birthday. Not like, 12 months and then the beginning of December it's my birthday. No, I have to wait majority of December until it's my birthday. But yeah, it's my birthday month and I absolutely love it because it's always about me. It's just the one day where it's just about me. I have no idea what I've got planned. Pretty much probably going to be absolutely nothing because I have my daughter. I tend to not really go out to restaurants because she's picky, so it probably is just going to have party food at home with my family, which is pretty much the best kind of birthday for me anyway. But yeah, it's my birthday month. It's also Christmas. Christmas is my favourite time of the year. Like, I think everyone says it, but this is my favourite time of the year. I mean, I go all out. Like, I have started Christmas decorations in my room, but that's not half of it. Like, I've only just started. I started it over the weekend, just gone, but my daughter's not very well, so we didn't do much. We just did the trees because she wanted to help do them. But like, no joke, my bookshelves are going to be all kitted out. I'm going to have Christmas bedding. Yeah, like this is not half of it. This is just the start. But I love Christmas. I just absolutely love everything about it, and it isn't purely gifts or anything like that. It is all of the decorations, all of the lights. It's just a month to be cozy, and I pretty much absolutely love Christmas movies. Like, I've already watched a few, like Channel 5 Christmas movies. They might be cheesy, but they're bloody brilliant. And I've already watched A Fair Whack. If you haven't watched it, Netflix film Last Christmas, absolutely brilliant. Have tissues ready. Wasn't expecting any of that, but nevertheless, it was a brilliant film. I have, speaking of films, this is my Christmas movie watching mug. I didn't realise how many Christmas mugs I had. I bought one thinking, oh, I haven't got any, I'll buy a couple. Quite glad I didn't buy any more because I already have about 4 Christmas mugs as it is. So this is one. Yeah, so we're going to do my December's TBR. It's a massive one, but if you watch my November TBR, you will know that my TBRs at the moment are quite loose. They're books that I want to read, but if I don't read them all, there's nothing wrong with it. November was a reasonably good reading month at the beginning, and then I completely I just got really exhausted, really tired, and I think it was a mixture of overdoing things, and I think it was also my Crohn's. I think my chronic fatigue was really kicking in purely just because of the weather. When it's cold and all that, I do really feel it. So I went up here and then I went down. However, because I haven't done any reading for a good few weeks, I am really in a reading mood. Like, I'm in the mood for fantasy, I'm in the mood for thrillers, I'm even in the mood for festive romances. So that's pretty much what these books are. It's like a mixed match of all of that. There's some that aren't really set in Christmas, but it's got wintry vibes and all that. There's some that's completely nothing to do with Christmas. But yeah, so it's a mixed match, but there's there's plenty of Christmas festive books. I've got a lot of books on my Kindle as well, like the ones that I'm going to mention on my Kindle are like a definite, but I do have other books that are Christmassy on my Kindle that I may go to as well. I am someone, when I read romance, I can read it in a day. So I have got quite a lot of romances in, purely because I know I can probably bash it out in a day. I maybe even be able to bash out 2 in a day, just because they're so easy and quick, and it's not much hard work for me to do. But yeah. That's lovely. Get comfy, get cozy, have a hot drink, whether it's tea, coffee, hot chocolate. I've got a caramel latte because they're my favourite. Let's get straight into the video and see what books I am reading. So I am going to start with like the festive books for the minute. So first up, just the one that's in my eyesight, Heidi Swain's new book, Underneath the Christmas Tree. My mum is currently reading this, as you can tell, so I'm hoping she'll read this like quite quickly, so then I can start it, because I really want to read this. Like, this is pretty much the first book I want to read for this month, but my mum's currently reading it. She's a bit of a slow reader, I'm not gonna lie, so you know, I might have to read something else while I'm waiting. But this is Heidi Swain's new release, and this is a complete different place and different characters. So she does have sort of a series, which is you can read like as a standalone, or you can read it in like the publication order. Now I have sort of gone in and out in complete different orders. It doesn't mess you around, but I must admit there are some characters, like there's a couple of characters that I read from one Christmas book I read last year, and obviously I knew they were together, but in the story that was particularly about this one character, it was about how she ends up being with this person. So in some sense, Heidi Swain books, it's better to read in publication order, because you get more of the character stories, because there are books where you mention the characters and it kind of could spoil it for you. Like, it didn't bother me over much, but if you're someone who doesn't like that kind of spoilers, then I would read in order. But this one is a completely new place, it's new characters, it's not mentioning anyone else from other previous books. So this is definitely a book that I would say read, because it's completely new place, new characters. You don't have to worry about any spoilers. But I'm really excited for this, because we are, where is this actually set? Does it tell you? Oh, I don't think it does. I want to know where this is actually, where this place is. But it doesn't actually tell me in the blurb, which is rather annoying. It's set in like a different place. Like, we have certain areas in all of Heidi Swain books that are sort of interlinked, but this one's a different place. I don't know what it is. I haven't read it yet to tell you, but my mum is reading it and she absolutely loves it already. So I definitely want to read this. This is a book that if I don't read anything else, this is definitely one I want to read. Next, I would like to read Meet Me in London by Georgia Toffolo, or Toff from Made in Chelsea. I've had this book for over a year now. My mum read it and she said it was a very quick, easy, it wasn't her favourite, but she said it was a very quick, easy book. I really want to read this because I also have her other book, which I want to read in the summer, and then she's got a new one coming out. Oh, I think it's actually out now. So I kind of want to read her books. But yeah, I really want to read this. My mum enjoyed it. And she said for her it was a little bit too young, but I personally think I probably enjoy it. It's sort of, it's Christmas, but I don't feel like it's extremely Christmassy. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember what this is about, to be honest. When I first bought it, it sounded perfect. But yeah, I'd like to read this. I also have some books from the library. I've got Redbird Christmas by Fanny Flagg. Sorry, that name. This is basically, well, it actually sounds like it's more to do with a man's perspective, which I quite like, which is why I picked it up. It sounded really good. It's also only 206 pages long, so I think this would be a really good 24-hour readathon type book to read. But it's very Christmassy. It's also got about it's just like loads of little bits. I won't do it because it's kind of, I feel like it might be a bit spoilery, but there's certain little bits in there as well. I just feel like it's going to be a very feel-good, cozy, quite cute story. Next, from the library as well, I've got Lucy Daniels' Snowflakes Over Moon Cottage, and this is not what I thought it was. Have I? Oh yeah, this is based in a Yorkshire village of Welford, and we follow Susan Collins, who is very, very big on Christmas, but she's had horrendous problems with finding dates and finding love, so she's completely given up on it. And to keep her busy over the Christmas holidays, she's decided to take up trips to the Animal Rescue Centre, Hope Meadows, to help out there. And that's when she meets a children's author, Douglas MacLeod. And yeah, so basically there's sort of a romance going on there, but then an ex-boyfriend turns up, and yeah, it sounds like a drama. It sounds very similar to Heidi Swain's books, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. I also have Christmas at Cedarwood Lodge by Rebecca Raisin, and this is basically Cleo Winters is finally renovating Cedarwood Lodge, and she's basically wants to turn it for a place for celebrations, weddings, parties, stuff like that. So she returns to the small town where she grew up in for a fresh start, but then she meets this contractor called Kai, who helps out with Cedarwood Lodge, and yeah, it obviously is going to have a romance in that. I also have this little cutesy book, The Cat Who Came for Christmas by Cleveland Amory. So it's just about this journalist who absolutely loves dogs, but one snowy Christmas Eve, he finds himself deserted in a New York alley trying to rescue a starving, hurt and not too friendly white cat. And of course he had no idea that this encounter would change his life forever. So it's basically about him and how this cat changes him. I'm not a cat person, if I'm going to be totally honest, but I really like the sound of this book, and I also just quite like the illustrations that are in the chapter headings. I thought it would just be a nice little cutesy feel-good book. Then going on to sort of, actually no, one more. A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This, I was going to buy this edition properly, but I saw they had it at the library, so I was like, you know what, I'll get it from the library. I love A Christmas Carol. I've watched the movie. I can't remember if I've ever read the book. I might have at school possibly, or when I was younger, but not obviously as an adult. So I really just wanted to read it and then probably see if I can watch the film afterwards, because I just do love Scrooge and like the whole bar humbug thing. It always reminds me of my granddad, because he's quite like, he doesn't not like Christmas, but he doesn't particularly, he's not bothered about decorating and things like that. It's just like, ugh, do I have to, sort of thing. So it always reminds me of a granddad. But yeah, I'm really, really, really excited to read this. It's short and it's just a beautiful cover. Like, I love this edition of this book. It's just gorgeous. So I want to read that. Also, I wouldn't mind going into like sort of Christmassy winter themes. I want to try and read Midnight in Everwood by M.A. Kusnaya. I don't know if I said that right. It's a beautiful Waterstones edition. It is gorgeous. This is sort of based loosely about Nutcracker. It's not overly Christmassy. It's more sort of like a Christmas Eve dance and things like that. So it's sort of based on like theatre, dance, stuff like that. Obviously it is Christmassy, so I feel like there will be some Christmas references, but I think it's going to be more wintry vibes rather than full on Christmas vibes. What I'm getting from the synopsis anyway. I might be completely wrong, but I would like to get to this. It is a big book, and obviously I've got loads of other books to read, so we'll see whether I get to it or not, but I would like to give it a go. I don't know much about the Nutcracker, like I haven't read many books about the Nutcracker, so it would be interesting to see whether I like it or not. Also, to do with Christmas, it's Christmas Days, 12 Stories and 12 Feasts for 12 Days by Jeanette Winterson. I saw this at the library and I thought, do you know what, this sounds really cute. So there's 12 short stories, and then there's like 12 of her own recipes. For example, Mrs. Winterson's mince pies. So we've got that. We've got like a story behind the mince pie itself, like for them, like their story behind it, and then you've got the actual recipe to make it, and then you also have short stories. For example, after that, it's called The Snow Mama. So I just like, I think it's just going to be quite cute. It would be nice just to dab in and out in the evening or something like that. So got that, and then sort of, I think lastly, I think that's all Christmassy it really. The rest is either winter vibes or completely not, so we're just going to go on to it now. I want to read Let It Go, which is a Frozen Twisted Tale. I've got like a big box set of all of the Twisted Tales from Christmas last year, and I've not read them yet. So I thought this would be perfect because I do love Frozen. Frozen 1 and Frozen 2 are very much a beloved film of mine, and I watch it constantly over like Christmas period, definitely, but still like pretty much any day really. My daughter absolutely hates it. She says it's too scary, so I'm hoping in time when she gets a bit older she'll love it as much as I do. But I want to read this. It's not very long. It's like 312 pages, but I really love the fact that we've got Elsa and Anna and Olaf, and I'm just really intrigued to see how this plays out, and I just think it would be quite fun. And then yeah, the rest is sort of Christmassy. No, that's wrong. The rest is more wintry vibes or not at all. So I've got Fledgling by Lucy Hope. So this is sort of about, I can't remember what this is about now. I think it's sort of set in winter, and I'm sure it's like one person's an angel something. I can't remember what this is about now, but I pre-ordered it and I really liked the sound of it. I'm not 100% sure whether it's a middle grade. I don't think it's YA unless I'm wrong. So this will be interesting because I'm very hit and miss with middle grade, just because I feel like I'm the wrong age for it. But either way, it sounds good, and I think it will be a very quick, easy read if I do get to it. I also have Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. Now, Agatha Christie, I've read one of her books, and to my book bestie's dismay, I really did not like it. It was boring. The actual mystery side of it was very quick and done, deal, boom, and I was like, oh. However, loads of people say this book is absolutely amazing. So I was like, okay, I know this is like book something of the Poirot series, but I was just like, I'm going to give it a go. Oh, someone's left a library thing in it. I thought I'll give it a go. If I'm not vibing with it, then I won't obviously bother, and Agatha Christie is clearly a not my kind of author, but I'm sort of intrigued about this because it does sound really, really good, and I also feel like maybe watching the movie if I didn't enjoy the book. But basically, the Orient Express gets stopped in its tracks because a massive big snowstorm hits, and while that happens, a passenger lies dead in his compartment. He is stabbed a dozen times and his door is locked from the inside. Isolated by the storm and with a killer in their midst, Detective Hercule Poirot must identify the prime suspects from a scornful and patient array of passengers before the murderer decides to strike again. I just love the sound of it being trapped on a train in the middle of a snowstorm with a killer on the loose. Like, I read, I can't remember what it's called now. I read a book where they were all on a plane and they had terrorists and killers on the... Oh, yeah, that was brilliant. I just love the sense of being trapped in this one place, not being able to get out. I just think this will be really good. So it sounds really good. It just depends on sort of the mystery side of things, whether it's just boom, boom, done, or whether it does like span out all through the book. So we'll see. If I don't enjoy it, then I will probably watch the movie just to see how it goes. I also would like to read nosfoy 2. I think that's how you say it, by Joe Hill, which I did not realise that he is the son of Stephen King. I got this recommendation from Spoopy Hole. She said that this is a really good book, and I was like, oh, I didn't realise how chunky it is, but it sounds really good. So basically, hang on. I can't remember what this is about. I'm sure this is to do with like a serial killer and they get kids to go to Christmas land and then he captures them and then he kills them. I'm sure that's what it is about. I can't blimmin' remember now. But when Spoopy Hole described it in like her winter Christmassy sort of books to read for winter, it sounded amazing and I thought, you know what, I'm intrigued. I didn't realise how chunky it is, but I haven't read a crime thriller in ages. And I'm really in the mood for one, and I do read them quite fast too. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. I think it's going to be really good. Going into the thrillers while I'm here, I also wouldn't mind reading Shiver by Ali Reynolds. This is sort of a killer in, is it a killer on a ski? Yeah, they get, someone gets invited to the French Alps for a ski trip. And start this person's snowboarding career, and 5 friends haven't seen each other for 10 years. They play an icebreaker game which turns menacing, and I think like one of them turns dead or something. I can't remember. There was a Tandem Collective read along for this like a few months back, or a good few months back at the beginning of this year, maybe. I can't remember when it was, but I wanted to be on it but I didn't get it. But like loads of people said how brilliant this book is, so I'm really excited for that. And obviously it's got the wintry vibes with it being in Snow Alps. I also wouldn't mind reading The Sanatorium by Sarah Pearse, which is based in a isolated hotel set in the Swiss Alps, and yeah, there's like a snowstorm and things like that. So again, it's got like being trapped somewhere, which I do really like. It's also got snowy vibes involved, so keen on that. And then onto sort of normal things. Another sort of, I think, wintry vibe is Pine. I'm not sure whether it's wintry, but it feels wintry just by the book. But it's a gothic thriller set in the Highlands and is surrounded by a forest. Basically, it's sort of set in Halloween. Yeah, okay, yeah, it doesn't really give me winter vibes here. Whatever, it sounded wintry and I quite like the sound of it when I picked it out. But it's like a gothic thriller. It's also got a bit of horror in it, and I am getting into my horror, so that's an option. I also want to read The Night Circus, so this was on my November TBR, but I haven't read it. But I actually managed to get this as an audio book version too, because I want to listen and read it, because I think it might help me better, just because there's certain bits on here that I've got like a French sort of twinge to it, and some of the names I'm like, I do not think I'm going to be able to pronounce in my head, and then I'll keep stumbling. So if I read and listen along with it, it will help me. So I really definitely want to read this because I love Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, and I just want to see, everyone says this is better than that, others say this is not as good as Starless Sea, so I want to see what my thoughts are, and I just think it's going to be a fun time, I think. I also, which was on my November TBR, I want to read The Invisible Life of Addy LaRue by V.E. Schwab. So I have started reading it. I'm on page 78, and I was really enjoying it at the time, and then I sort of had to read a different book, and I sort of lost interest in this just because I was reading other books. But I do want to read this because I've been desperate to read it. It's a beautiful, stunning edition of this book, and what I had read, I really was enjoying it. So I definitely would like to at least read this so I can say I have, but we'll see. And then the last remaining books, I wouldn't mind, I'm going to do this briefly because obviously I am very much aware of J.K. Rowling and what she's been doing to the LGBTQ community. I do not agree with anything she does, and I'm a very big supporter of LGBTQI plus community, and this is not me supporting her. These books I got secondhand, so the money isn't actually going to her, it's gone to charity. But Harry Potter is a beloved series of mine. It's what got me into reading in the first place, and I want to get the series. I've only got these 2 books for now, but I want to get this series for me to reread, but also for my daughter as she grows up, because I think she's going to love these books, and it's something I grew up with. It's something I think she's probably going to grow up with, and when she does get to the stage she wants to read these, I will obviously explain J.K. Rowling, what she's been doing, and like let her be aware and give her all of that information. But for me, I'm someone who can separate the author to the books, and I haven't read Harry Potter since I was a kid. Since like the first time I read The Philosopher's Stone was year 5 teacher reading it to me, and in year 6 I bought the second book because I loved it so much, and then I continued reading the series as the years gone. I want to reread these because it's been so long since I've read them, and also over Christmas Harry Potter is on. I tend to watch it anyway because it's sort of been a Christmas tradition with all of my family. So yeah, I'm going to read them, but that's all I'm going to say about it, because obviously I do know a lot of people don't support her and don't want to do anything to do with her, and I absolutely very much agree with you guys, but it is something that's still close to my heart. So for me, I recognise what's gone on, and I'm certainly not a supporter of her, but like I said, the books were second hand, so the money isn't going to her, it's actually gone to charity. Next, Red Queen, but Victoria Aveyard. I got this in a swap I did, and I've been really wanting to read this series, so I thought I would try out the first book, see if I enjoy it. If so, then I'll continue the series because I have found the box set quite cheap. Can't remember what this is about, but I think it says dystopian fiction, so I'm wondering whether like it's a dystopian fantasy. Not 100% sure, but it sounds really good. I'm very intrigued, and I like the fact that it's sort of got war vibes in it, which I do enjoy. Then I want to try and finish Donna Tartt's The Secret History. I have this on BorrowBox as an audio, so I want to try and finish this before it runs out. But if I'm going to be totally honest, this book is very, like I'm enjoying it, but am I understanding it? That's another question. But I would like to try and finish that, but we'll see. Like, there's no rush if I don't. Also, I've got a graphic novel here by Marjane Satrapi. I think I've said that right, I'm sorry. It's Persepolis. This is a Tandem Collective read-along. It's like a 2-month read-along, like what we're doing. It's sort of for dyslexic people, so it's longer. I'm not dyslexic, so I feel bad for being on the read-along because I'm not. I haven't actually picked this up yet, and I think the read-along ends on the 7th of December or something, so I really need to breeze through it. But it's a graphic novel, it's not going to take me long, and it's not overly much text, so definitely need to read this. Then I saw this in the library when I went to pick up all my library books, and it's called Offia, and it's by Joanne M. Harris, and it's illustrated by Bonnie Helen Hawkins. And it's sort of a I'm not sure whether it's a retelling or whether it is based on a fairy tale. I'm not 100% sure. It sounded good, basically. It's absolutely beautiful. Like underneath here, obviously you've got the library stuff underneath, so that spoils it a bit, but I'll show the back, you can see it better. And it's just beautifully illustrated as well. It's just like you've got all these beautiful illustrations. It sounds wonderful, but basically we follow a heartbroken mother who sets out to save her lost daughter through the realms of the real, of dream, and even into the underworld itself. But determination alone is not enough, for to save something so precious she must give up something precious, be it a song, a memory, or her freedom itself. So it's based on a modern fairy tale. I never heard of this particular fairy tale, but it sounds amazing, it looks amazing, and it's not overly long, and I think I'm going to thoroughly enjoy this. And then lastly, I have got Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Edo Lodge. I have this also on audiobooks that I've sort of got into non-fiction audio. Like, I actually prefer listening to it than reading it. It stays in my head more. So I've got this in audiobook to listen and read along. And I'm also currently listening and reading along to Quite by Claudia Winkleman. I am currently on page 37, loving this, like absolutely loving this. So I want to try and do these two for this month, just because this was a Christmas present from last year, so I really want to read it because, you know, it's been a year. B, I've been wanting to read this for ages, and finally it was available in the library to get it. So yeah, these are definitely two I want to try and read because, you know, I haven't read non-fiction, and I've started to find that non-fiction on audio is a lot easier for me. And then lastly, going on to Kindle books, The Keeper of the Night by Kylie Baker is Sydney's Patreon book club pick. I'm not going to go into what it's about, but it sounds amazing. I think I'm really going to love it. It's about a reaper. It sounds fab. Next, to do with Sydney's Patreon, again, it's a buddy read that we do, so it's usually the second book that sort of wins in the poll is our buddy read, and that's Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. This is a thriller. It's about a black father and a white father, and both their sons got murdered, and both their sons were married. So they sort of join forces and go and do revenge on the actual killers of their sons. So it sounds really good. It sounds like it's going to be part thriller, part about grief, and part about race as well. Also, for Sydney's Patreon, we are doing like a Christmas buddy read, and I think for now it might change because there's still a few days left, but currently the winner of that is The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox. Now this book was actually one of my book club picks, so I wanted to read it anyway, so regardless I was going to read it, so we got that. For my book club pick, it is The Christmas Murder Game by Alexandra Benedict. This is 12 Days of Christmas, and they basically have to do all of these like tasks, and whoever wins will be the person who gets this place. But along the way, they've also said that this particular person will find out what truly happened to her mother, because she died, but it's clear that possibly she was murdered. But along the way, it's also clear that actually they're all in danger, specifically this particular character. It sounds very good. It's sort of got Agatha Christie vibes / Cluedo vibes from what it said on there, so I'm intrigued. For Morgan Long's Patreon book club, we are reading The Christmas Bookshop by Jenny Colgan. This I'm not reading on my Kindle. I have ordered a copy. I'm just waiting for it to come. But this sounds absolutely my vibe. Like, I love reading books about books, so this really, really does sound like a book I'm going to thoroughly enjoy. Then also, like, not for book clubs but on my Kindle that sound good, I've got Baby It's Cold Outside by Emily Bell, which is like a second chance romance. So I do quite like that trope, so I think that would be quite a fun read. And then I also have The Christmas Killer by Alex Pine, which is basically a serial killer who will kill only along on Christmas. So yeah, I was meant to read this last year. I don't think I did read this last year, but I will try it anyway. If I have, then I won't read it, because I did read a lot of Christmas books on my Kindle, but my Kindle went a bit ugh, and I had to like redo it all, and all the books came, but it doesn't now tell me which books I read from like last year, so I can't remember whether I did read it or not. But yeah, that is the massive TBR. Obviously, I'm not expecting to read every single one of these books, but I would like to at least try and read some of them. Like, I might go off base and read something completely different, but these are the books that I'm really torn to at the minute, and I do love reading Christmas festive books. So for me, romance, I will breeze straight through. So all of these romances I probably will read, and it won't take me long to read because I can smash them out. I think the thrillers as well, I probably can smash them out too. We'll see. But yeah, I've got a lot of options. Obviously, like I said, I'm not going to read them all. Plus, it's Christmas, it's my birthday. I am going to do lots of Christmassy things with my family. But yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to try and read as many as I can because it's the last TBR of this year, and then 2022 can be a start of hopefully a better reading year, because the last few months has gone a bit downhill. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books, or if you're planning to read any of these books, and if you want, we can buddy read because that tends to help me. But yeah, thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!